Well, I've come back to solder the end filigree pieces into the head. So the first thing I'm going to do is add some flux. Start my torch up and you get a nice flame, nice small flame. Still working with that number 4 tip. So here I am, going to solder the bottom first. Hopefully it'll stay put, this first soldering. There we go. It's just tacked. I'll go back there and flow it once I get the other side on. Okay, here we go. Okay, that side's on. I'll go back and I'll flow this side. There we go. Now I'm going to solder the bottom. Then I'll solder the sides. Okay, so there's that. Now I'm going to solder the this bottom section. Put some flux on there. Now that it's hot. Okay, it flowed. I'm going to put a little more solder in there. There we go. Now I'm going to come in and solder the last 2 sections here. Get a nice small piece of solder. There's that. Get another nice small piece of solder and blow the other side. Turn this a little bit. There's that. So that's all soldered in. Let's take a look at the other side. Let's see what I can do. Let's see, I haven't even tested this one yet. Let's see if this goes right in. It was all done by measuring against one another. And of course the prongs went on originally just by eye. But let's see what happens here when I try to put this in place. Look at that. Okay, so now I'm going to solder that in place. Doing an adjustment here. And that looks good. Let's see if that curve is. Now that looks good. Okay, so now I'm going to finish soldering this out. So first thing, I'm going to put some flux on things. So first thing I'm going to do is solder that bottom. this area right here. Solder this in place. Actually, that piece of solder is too big. Get a little tiny piece of solder. Okay, there's the first one. Let's see what I did here. There we go. That's soldered. Let me see if I reflow this other one here. Nope, that's as far as it's going to go. That's all soldered. So when you take a look at this, let's leave it in the clamp and I'll spin it. You can see what I've done here. Okay, so you have all this filigree. I reversed the filigree on the ends compared to what's on the sides. The last thing I'm doing here is I'm going to solder some jump rings onto each side of the prongs because it's going to be set horizontal with the chain coming in on each side. So now I'm getting some solder. I'm using 18 yellow easy. And I'm just I've marked the areas where I want the jump ring to be attached to. I used a ball burr to do that. So now here comes the first prong. Some flux. So here's the first jump ring. I'm back to my big tip in case you haven't noticed that yet. Now I'm going to go ahead and go to the other one here. Get some solder. And I'll get a jump ring. There we go. Let's see how it looks. Yeah, that'll work. I'm here now doing a little bit of cleanup of my filigree. And so I'm going around with a sanding disc first of all. And I am taking down the filigree a little bit so that it all blend properly. So basically what I've done is I've put everything down to around the same making it even with the under bezels, the filigree. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in with a rubber wheel. And I am going to do yet a little bit more cleanup. So this is a brownie. So I'm using this brownie here to do a cleanup. So now I'm going to use a floppy wheel, another brownie, and then I'm going to shape it the way I want it so that I can use it once again to open up some detail. Once again, shaping it up. So as you can see here, I've gone around, I've rubber wheeled the whole outside of it. The piece is ready for polishing at this point.